Who's ready to start the best hour of their week? Yes! Mark Paulson, would you like to come to our invocation, please? Just run it.
Every once in a while, you got to pretend like you're in fifth position. Let us pause and take a moment and have a word. Gracious God, we come again to this time of week and we gather. We remind of ourselves the gifts that have been given to us. And those gifts have been given to us for the benefit of the whole, for common good. So, Father, may we be reminded of how we serve common good here in our community. We might help and assist those in need. And so continue to lift us up, guide us through your wisdom and grace. This in the holy and mighty name of Jesus.
Thank you, Mark. Salute. Pledge. You may be seated. Amanda Davis is the Sergeant at Arms today. And that's a pretty good applause there, Amanda. You better be ready.
So we're afraid of her.
Yeah. Okay. We had an important thing happen in our country this week, so we're not going to get political today, but we're going to see how many historians that we have with us that can help answer some of these questions about inaugurations from over the decades. All right, the very first inauguration took place April 30th in what year?
1792.
Close. 1789. Good job. All right. It was on silent, though. I don't have to pay a fine, right? I should have made this bigger. All right. Since 1937, what time on January 20th does the new term start? 12 o'clock. That's kind of an easy one. Okay, this is a good one. All right. In what year was the, now you guys are like, you're too young to not be able to read. In what year did this president get inaugurated and it was held, let me start that all over again. I'm going to give it away when I say that. I should have reworded that one.
You're not going to get an applause next time.
I know, they're not going to clap. All right, here we go. All right, obviously we just had an inauguration that was held indoors. There's been two other inaugurations that had to be changed. What were they? Reagan, in what year? 85. And there was one more that was moved to the Senate chambers a long time ago. I'll give you a hint. William Taft. Anybody know the year? Oh, you're close, Robert. 1909. All right. Okay, this is a good one. There were 35 inaugurations held on the east side of the Capitol. They're held on the west side now. What president in 1829 was inaugurated on the east side of the Capitol? Andrew Jackson. So close. All right, this is a good one. What was the first inauguration known to have been photographed? (1857). James Buchanan. All right, a couple more. First inauguration to be televised. 1949. Truman. And the first time that the ceremony was broadcast live on the internet.
That'd be Bill Clinton.
President Clinton, 1997. All right, so a lot of people answered. You'll be exempt. If you guys see these on your table, make sure to leave some money in there if you didn't know your history today. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Amanda. Give her a big round of applause. Our Rotarian of the day is Everett Eaton, but I don't believe he is here. So if you see him, say hi. Students of the month are Will Roberts and Sierra Yurko, if they want to do a nice little wave for us. Let's do a big thank you to our caterer, Tim Burden. And then, per usual, we have another slew of guests with us today. With John Sawyer, we have Mark Lee. You want to do a nice little wave for us, Mark? With Margie Murphy, we have Karen Brown. And then with me, we have Sherry Sherrill, a potential new member, and she's even got her app done. So, you want to do a big wave for her? And then she has brought her husband, Randy Sherrill. And also, Lita Dueñas. Did I hit that? With Ben Hampton, we have Case Hampton. With Kelly McCorkle, we have Kelsey Galt. With Clayton Baker, we have Joanna Baker. And then, if you have an announcement, make your way to the front now. We've got a couple. Rich, you got an announcement? I hear you talking at the tables. Nothing? I think they're trying to figure out who's going first. Suzanne, you go first, or is Mary going? Suzanne?
I'm going first because I never want to follow Mary. If you are a recipient or a sponsor of one of the Rotary grants and you haven't responded to me about how many guests you will have next week, please do so by Saturday evening. Our caterer needs to know so we know how many meals to make. Thank you.
Okay. Dolly Day. Wow. Wow. I can't thank all the people who helped. For one thing, I'd be afraid I forget somebody because so many of you helped, whether it was at the event that night or behind the scenes. It was just truly a wonderful event of coming together and showing the community the importance of literacy, honoring our donors, and bringing our families together to do something really, really fun. And so I thank all of you that contributed. I do want to just mention our sponsors. They were really important. Grove Public Schools sent well over 30 kids and administrators. So many compliments on the kids that night. Some of our other sponsors were like, how did you get such great volunteers? I mean, they were wonderful. Thank you. Grand River Abstract and Title, the refreshment table, tons of decorations. It was really, really nice to not have to worry about that because we started the planning and immediately they volunteered and said, we'll take care of it. Thank you so much for the setup also. The 15 businesses who did the scavenger hunt. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting the posters out. And the winner was Bank of Grand Lake, so congratulations. Northeast Tech, their senior AV team under Justin Gibson did our soundboard and did our videos and did the whole presentation that night. And then Diane Hampton showed up with balloons and cookies, which we really needed, so that was wonderful. I don't know where Diane is, but thank you, Northeast Tech. Northeast Oklahoma Electric Cooperative gave us bags, so when the kids arrived, they had little bags to put their crafts in and all their things, so that was wonderful. Eastern Oklahoma Library System, all 3 libraries showed up. We had the whole side of the room full of craft tables. It was amazing, so much fun. So thank you to them. Church on the Hill, Mark Polson, Brenda Barnhart, Randy Matthews, the setup and takedown team. What a great venue, and it was perfect for the evening. We just fit in here. We had 55 kids and their parents and their grandparents, so it was crazy busy, so it was wonderful. The Boom is a sponsor. As you may know, we had bad weather the week before. Thank goodness it wasn't the of. I'll take it. So we're going to reschedule, put February 6th on your calendar. Dolly Trivia Night, February 6th. I still wanted to do it, so we're going to do it then. And then our donors and readers, thank you for coming and reading. Many of our readers and celebrity donors have made donations, some private, so I'm not going to announce, but to the tune of thousands of dollars, so thank you for that. That wasn't the reason for this, it wasn't, but thank you for contributing to the program. And lastly, Jim, I will announce the Mecklenburg Foundation. Mary Duncan came and read that night, and they have made a donation to Grove Rotary Club Imagination Library for $5,000. We have some more donations coming in. I can't announce today, but you'll see me again. So thank you, everybody. It was a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. And let me just say this for a second. You guys, some of you know how much Mary pours into this because she's up here talking about all these great donations. You would not believe how orchestrated and perfect this went last Thursday. She had everything down to the T by the minute. It was perfectly executed. Let's give Mary a big round of applause. We are so blessed to have you do this. So blessed. It was a blast. Jack, I know you did a lot too. So, Ivan, are you ready? I've asked Ivan to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Kyle Stafford.
It's always a pleasure to introduce somebody that I have a great deal of respect for. I can get this up on my phone. Dr. Kyle Stafford.
You need Amanda to come read it for you?
Hey, that would be good. Dr. Kyle Stafford has dedicated his career to advancing student success, fostering institutional growth, and building strong community partnerships in higher education. Since 2020, Dr. Stafford has served as the president of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, where his leadership has revitalized the college trajectory. Under his guidance, NEO has achieved enrollment increases, improved financial health, and secured over $10 million in grants and private donations to support students, facilities, and innovative programs. A passionate advocate for two-year colleges, Dr. Stafford emphasizes the critical role of institutions like NEO in driving economic development, creating pathways to success for students. He inspires his team with the philosophy that education is not just about academic achievement, but about transforming lives and strengthening communities. Dr. Stafford lives in Miami, Oklahoma. Amanda, I think, moving from, where he enjoys connecting with students, faculty, and alumni, and fostering the sense of family that makes NEO a special place to learn and grow. Please welcome Dr. Kyle Stafford.
Thank you, Ivan. It's good to be back down in Grove. Happy New Year to everybody, and thank goodness the temperature is above freezing for the first time in like 100 hours. So good to be here. Let's see if I can figure this all out. Your dreams begin here. He talked a little bit about academic success, student success. I've already tried to recruit our 2 seniors of the month, right? I didn't need to sit by you all. I sat by them. I'm always on a mission. I truly believe in our theme, our tagline, your dreams begin here. And so our spring semester is off to a great start. Just right up the road. Yes, we've had a few cold days, a few light flurries in town, but it's not hampered our spring semester. Enrollment's still currently going on for the spring semester, and I'm pleased to say that looks like we'll be up for about 5 to 6% for our enrollment. How well can you hear me? Do I need to get it there? Yeah. All right, I'll put it a little bit closer. Sorry about that. I grew up with my male role model in my life was my grandfather, who passed away 10 years ago, and you know, the women in our lives will say it's selective hearing, but he was a bombardier on the B-24, and so I need to remember that Dean Samuel's in this audience and be ready to speak up, so I apologize.
He taught me the right way. So things are off to a great start. I just want to, just kind of recap. This is a little hard slide for you all to see. What does it say? We serve northeastern Oklahoma, our tri-county area, service area, which includes, obviously, here in Delaware, but Ottawa and Craig County. 44% of our students are from these counties. If you look at the history of higher education, history of NEO, that number probably 10 to 15 years ago was closer to probably 60%. Rural Oklahoma has declined, and so as we try to innovate, we have to understand that the students that we've traditionally relied on are not graduating from our public school systems, and so we have had to get outside of the box. What's also impressive about that, and I talked to ag students this morning, we have students from 34 states and 17 countries right up the street at the little small junior college in Miami, Oklahoma. That's impressive. That's not your typical junior college, and so we take great pride in that. Part of that is also to never lose sight that 60% approximately of our students are first in their families to go to college. So we have to understand that price points mean something. We have to have access to higher education. Community colleges are typically that. And so when we make decisions based upon raising tuition and our fees, we have to understand that it's on the backs of our students, because Pell Grants don't cover 100% of the cost to go to school. As you can see, barely the 95% says 95% of our students receive some type of financial aid on campus, with 80% of that being federal financial aid. And so we always are cognizant of who we serve on campus. The circle that doesn't show up very well, let me summarize that. Approximately 28% of our students are Native Americans. And so if you look, the yellow actually says, I don't know what it says, but I can tell you that's what that slide's really supposed to mean for me. There's multi-races that are typically are Native American students. And I say that as we get along a little bit further along in the slides, you'll actually see why that's important, because of our Native American distinction to be able to go get federal grants. Our top 5 majors are on campus right now are general studies. Also pre-nursing, and nursing is number 2, business administration is 3, pre-health science is 4, psychology, sociology is number 5. And I say that to say, we'll talk about workforce here in just a little bit, but Oklahoma as a whole, we do the best job in the country. The state of Oklahoma does the best job in the country of having the number of students transfer on to four-year institutions. And so you look at those and say, well, general studies, that's transferring on. Nursing is actually going to go do workforce. The business administration is an associate's degree, so they'll be transferring on for the most part. Pre-health sciences is an applied science, which is a workforce program. And then lastly, is psych and social, which is a transfer degree. I've already talked a little bit about the ethnic makeup. We have 610 students living on campus. Our fall enrollment was 1,939. 1,939, and I'll simply say that that's the largest enrollment that NEO's had since fall of 18, and so we have actually made the turn as it relates to our enrollment. Taking a real, change this slide a couple of times, what's our local impact, economic impact on our community? We have about 165 employees on campus. Annual operating budget's about $28 million. Our payroll's just shy of $11.2 million. A study that was done and released by the Oklahoma State Regents in 2019 that was actually collected from data from 2016 basically said for every dollar of state appropriations invested into Miami NEO results in a $7.40 return on investment. Obviously, we don't have any more current data at this point, but the state regents are actually working on that, and I would hope that we will see some of that data this spring, if not later this summer. Campus events, obviously, are an economic impact. See, Amanda Davis, you are lucky to have her there. Worked with her closely in Miami, and she knows that the first event listed there is the Coaches Association Duels. We had 22 collegiate wrestling programs from across the country, and I say collegiate across the country. I'm talking about the best top 10 in the country. So Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, of course, Illinois, and Minnesota were all on campus last week. And to have 22 teams across the country, not only is it quality, but that creates heads and beds, which is what you measure economic impact, but also meals in our local communities. And so that's a great event. Starting tomorrow night is the NEO basketball tournament. Some of you all may remember when we had 100 teams. We don't have 100 full-time employees to put that on anymore. And so we're down to 32 teams, but we're excited about having those young people on campus. I just made a stop here in town. I do my dry cleaning in Grove, Oklahoma, and was told just a little bit ago about how somebody's kid is going to the basketball tournament. And the best thing about it is they all get to eat in the cafeteria. And so that's important stuff. And so as I move on, we do have a local impact, and we'll get to alumni in the news. And so we, again, sometimes don't really know about the successes that come from NEO, and I just want to share a few of those. If you look in the top left-hand corner, that's Jacob Smith. He was here in 2014 and 15, went on to Oklahoma State University to wrestle, was an All-American there, was an All-American here, has just made the news in mixed martial arts, UFC. You know who that guy is? All right, did you go to school with him? Yeah, so there you go. And so moving across to the right, Bethany played in the 24 Paris Olympic Games for the country of Belgium. Bottom left-hand corner, I know there's some Sooner fans in the, so I go from Oklahoma State on top, and I quickly follow up with OSU, or University of Oklahoma, to be politically correct. But Kendall Dolby finished up at NEO a couple of years ago, got hurt the second or third game of the year this year, and he has just declared that he will be back for another year as the cheetah position for the University of Oklahoma. And then to the far right side, that's the head softball coach at the University of Tulsa, Chrissy Strimple. Chrissy played softball at NEO, has been at the University of Tulsa for several years, and we were glad to have the University of Tulsa back on campus for fall ball. They actually came and did a weekend retreat at Grand Lake, and we got them to stop off in Miami to play us in softball. We don't tell our softball players this, but that was their first week of practice, and we won. And so our girls left feeling great about being the University of Tulsa, and we did not tell them it was their first week. Moving on, hey, here's an event. If you're not on our alumni list and you are alumni, we want you to come and be a part of things. And this is just one example. We had homecoming. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But the guy in the bottom left-hand corner, Jonathan Mogbo, played at NEO in 22. Went on to, Missouri State before he went on to University of San Francisco. Got drafted he was the first pick of the second round in last year's NBA draft. And so he's playing with the Toronto Raptors on February the 7th on a Friday night. We're going to have an alumni event in Oklahoma City. And then several of us are moving on to watch the ball game later that night. The guy on the other side, beside me is actually Coleman Proctor. We actually recognized Coleman at NEO as an outstanding young alumni 2 years ago. I traveled out to Las Vegas last month and watched Coleman in the 8th and the 9th round. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stick around it was good luck for him on the 8th and 9th round. He was second on the 8th round, and he was number one on the 9th round, or vice versa, and he lost his calf on the team roping. Otherwise, he would have been the all-around world champion. But Coleman now lives in Pryor, Oklahoma. And so our story is far and wide as it relates to where our alumni go on. Another successes that are going on at NEO, top left-hand corner, we've got a coach that's been there, our volleyball program, for 2 years. Sarah Wall has been doing a great job for us, taking us from a losing season her first year to actually one game away from the national tournament this past year in women's volleyball. So we expect great things. Top right-hand corner, good friend of mine is the Secretary of Agriculture, and if you know Blaine Arthur, it's her birthday, send her a text message. Secretary, be sure you tell her happy birthday. But she gives me heck every time I put something up about esports, because she thinks more kids need to go out and play in the dirt versus on video games. But NEO started our esports program just a couple of years ago. I'm pleased to say that they are now recipients of 2 national championships. 2 national championships. If you're not doing anything tonight, bottom left-hand corner, graphics pretty hard to understand and see there, but that's our men's basketball team all across the country, ranked number 3 in the country. Number 3 in the country. They play tonight, so if you don't have anything to do, come on over. 5:30 women's game, 7:30 men's. They're very, very exciting. Some of the best players that I've seen. I would put our top 6 up against any player in the league. And I'd say that our top 11 are some of the best in the league as well. So the big challenge for Coach Jackson at this point is figuring out how to keep 11 people happy when you can only play 5. And that's really what it boils down to. Middle section, as you know, NEO A&M College. The A stands for agriculture. We our theme, if you will, tagline in ag is branded in tradition, and ag has been a huge part of what we do at NEO, but it's been silent for a few years. So I'm pleased to say that middle picture there is the Cattlemen's Congress that just took place a couple of weeks ago. Cattlemen's Congress was an ag stock show that was actually developed 5 years ago when they delayed and canceled Denver show. And now it's become one of the premier stock shows in the country. And more importantly, they've named the livestock judging contest the Gerald Callahan Memorial Livestock Contest. Gerald went to school at NEO. He's from Welch, Oklahoma. Came to NEO for 2 years, went on to Oklahoma State, came back and was a 22-year-old and was our livestock judging coach back when we had a lot of things going for us. He passed away unexpectedly December of 23, and so this was the first ever, and I am pleased to say that NEO's national livestock judging team is back on the national map as it relates to winning the first ever Gerald Callahan Memorial Livestock Show. So we're very, very proud of Maddie and our kids. I got to go down and be a part of that. I think that is me on the left. Got to hang out with them, and we really do have a bright future ahead of us as it relates to the young people that work hard. That's not an instant gratification sport, meaning you can't go pick up a ball and shoot a couple of times and go be good at it. It is intense, right, Ms. Dozier? It's very intense. And so they went on to Denver this past week and got third place, and very, very excited as it relates to their success this year. They also won the North American Livestock Show Expo in Louisville this past year, and so great things are happening with these young people. And I might say one of the things that we struggle in Oklahoma is getting talent from outside of the state of Oklahoma and getting them here and then trying to keep them here. One of the obstacles that we have at NEO is we are able to go recruit these kids all across the country. A couple of kids are from Montana on the team. I think we have in Alabama, Arkansas, and I can continue to say several other states. But when they finish at NEO, historically they've transferred back to their home states because Oklahoma State University has charged out-of-state tuition. But President Shrum has worked with myself and President Ramey at Connor State College, and today a student that graduates from NEO can now go, that's out of state, can go on to Oklahoma State University, and they're out-of-state tuition is waived. And so we're very excited about that because we're part of trying to create talent, and there's an opportunity for us to keep those students in Oklahoma upon graduation. So we're very, very appreciative of President Shrum and her team. Speaking of in the news, we always like to have Matt Pinnell. If he's not in Grove, we try to get him in Miami, and if he is in Grove, we still try to get him in Miami. We always like having him on campus. He's truly a great advocate, not only for the state, but higher education. The other guy on the other side is a guy by the name of Tim Schreiber, and I know that we put some feelers down here to the Grove Rotary Club to try to get a few of you all up here. I saw some of you all, but you all know who Tim is? Trivia, right? That is the nephew of John F. Kennedy. So his parents, Eunice Kennedy Schreiber is his mother. His mother was the founder of Special Olympics. He currently serves as the president of International Special Olympics. And that is the boat at Shangri-La that belonged to his family. And he goes, it's called the 10 of us. No, excuse me. The yacht was called the 10 of us. And the reason they called that boat the rest of us, because that's where all the grandkids were. The 10 of us were on the big boat, and the rest of us were there. So anyway, great photo there. If you've not looked it up, the Dignity Index, we had him come onto campus this past fall. An hour was not enough in front of him. He basically just, I was like a sponge listening to him talk about it. The Dignity Index is really probably more important as we go forward with politics. How do we have dialogue when we disagree? Moving on, outstanding alumni. Ben, I've got stories on you. Ben Hampton's one of the guys up there. We recognized him this past year. Congratulations, right? Anybody a Ben Hampton fan? Right. So you look across there, Ben Hampton, young alumni. We recognized him, bottom left-hand corner, I think. And so obviously we're proud of the success that he's had. Obviously, NEO is a special place for his family, brother too, and wife, going back to Ben. And so we recognize our alumni each year. And so we have a ton of alumni that have done great things. I firmly believe that our story is our alumni story, and vice versa. And so the more that we can tell that story, the better off we are. Obviously, you know his success. He now is actually on the foundation board at NEO, and I'll talk a little bit about some of our successes there here shortly. But in the middle, you will not know this name. It's not a household name, but that is Bob and Kenny Smith. Bob played football at NEO. And I'm trying to recall, I think it was Drake University is where he went on to. And his wife, Kenny, they were high school sweethearts from Stillwater, Oklahoma. And they both came to NEO. And she was the first ever female senior vice president for NFL Films. And that's Kenny. And then Bob has worked for NFL Films for like 50 years, and not a Super Bowl has been recorded without him being involved. And so that's pretty impressive from a guy that went from NEO to NFL Films. The last guy has some ties to our community, Commerce originally, but has businesses here locally and spent some time here, and that's Brad Smith. He's the Chief Information Officer for Paycom. And so, and again, our story is their story and vice versa. Their story is ours. And so there's some of the honorees that we got to recognize. And again, part of my job, students, is to put you in front of people. I think I said this to you a while ago. Part of this is to put our students in front of people who they aspire to be. And we talked briefly about this just a while ago, but I truly believe that you can do anything. Education is the great equalizer. Here's great examples. Doesn't mean every person is going to achieve that success, but these people will also be willing to people that will talk to our students about their career paths and how hard work and dedication was a part of that. Homecoming was a great time. We've really emphasized homecoming in the last couple of years. This photo really doesn't say a lot, but we tailgate now on homecoming day. We probably had 300-400 people there. We had a barbecue cook-off where each of us prepared several pounds of pulled pork, and we prepared for 750 when we ran out of meal food. So it's a great time. It costs nothing to us. Crossing Construction is one of our donors that makes that possible. Cook-off, obviously, before we go on to the ball game. But it's a great time to interact and learn about the stories. We talked about being on the foundation. We need more people from Grove to be a part of the NEO Foundation and helping us. Some of you all were actually attended that night, the Golden Gala. Laura, I know your family was there in Hampton. And Clayton, you were there as well. And I appreciate you all. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, I think I actually throw in the Grove photo of some of the folks from Grove. But the Golden Gala historically has raised about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. We hit our milestone of $100,000 a year before I got here, and I'm pleased to say this past year we raised $125,000 to help students with student scholarships. And a part of that process was also to provide us our mascot with the new costume, Odin. And so we're excited about that. We appreciate your support that we're involved, and we hope to get more of you. We had 40 tables. I don't know what we're going to do on space because I think we only had about 15 slots left open, which means there's 15 seats for you to come and be a part of the Golden Gala. Moving on, workforce and academics. We can't even read that. So let me just paraphrase what is up there. I talked a little bit about our Native American population on campus. There's these buckets of money as it relates to grant programs and opportunities to the U.S. Department of Education. Because of our Native American enrollment percentage, we are eligible to apply for Native American non-serving tribal institution grants. Okay, we call them Title III grants. And so we are very, very fortunate to have 3 Title III grants going on right now. One ends this year, but these two on the page represent about $7 million in funding that we have secured from Washington, D.C. to help us put in place on campus. And so what I would simply say, anybody know Dr. Joy Bauer by chance? Joy Bauer lives down here in Grove, has been on our faculty for several years, but when we secured this grant a couple of years ago, these two, she actually helped us to create our Innovation Teaching Center. Education has changed. We talked about this briefly, and I can't get into philosophy today, but how we viewed education just 6 years ago is different from where it is then to where it is today. When I interviewed for this job 5.5 years ago, I talked about the disruptors, and how we respond to the disruptors in higher education is how successful we're going to be. I have students, 610 of them that live on campus right now. We believe they take about 4.5 hours online, even though the classroom is face-to-face and available. Right now, if I called my academic VP and said, what classes are open right now, he's going to tell me I have 2 or 3 that are face-to-face, and we've got 1 or 2 slots, lots of seats in the 1 or 2 to 3 face-to-face classes, but our online classes may have 1 or 2 slots. Students are choosing, and so we've got to have the mindset that we've got to meet our students where they want to be met to be fed, to feed them. I'm not getting into the AI conversation. And from an ag school, that means artificial insemination. So we're not getting into that. So artificial intelligence. And so these grants have basically transformed our ability to provide what I'd say on-ground services to an online student. And I know you cannot read that. Supporting the new majority. Awarded in 2022, supporting the new majority awarded in 2023. We partner with Carl Albert State College, and this basically enables us to serve students in the online format with support services, but also to help our faculty be better at what they do. I'll give you an example. So here's a photo of Maddie. Maddie Haynes is our livestock judging coach. She's right down the street in Jay, Oklahoma, but she's in front of a smart board. And the camera is about where this camera is, and she is writing on a clear screen, obviously not doing it towards your direction, but the screen flips, and they're able to record lectures this way so that we can try to engage student versus the blah, blah, bland. And so math professors can get up there and work a problem, and then we can upload that into an online. Again, if we choose not to be in online education, we're missing out because students and working adults actually want it that way, which kind of leads into a question of how's the NEO Growth Campus going? Well, we still have a presence here. We will always have a presence here. We're still trying to figure out how to do more with concurrent enrollment, but that a working adult population doesn't want to do face-to-face. They can do it online. And so if we don't expand who we are and how we deliver programs, we miss out on how to serve our local community. Moving into workforce. I need to wrap up here pretty quick. So workforce, nursing program. For more than 50 years, NEO has produced nursing graduates. Our totals are north of 2,200 graduates in our nursing program. This past fall, we had a ribbon cutting on our new nursing simulation lab. We secured $1.7 million to help us renovate that space, as well as some other new equipment to be a part of that. It's what we call cutting edge, as it relates to nurses, but it's obviously a low-risk environment where students, we have an OB, we have a PEDS, gerontology as well, patient as well, and so our students are getting exposure to all of that, again, in a low-risk environment where they can practice, and behind the screen is where students can sit there and watch their colleagues do it and hopefully learn from their mistakes. Very, very excited about that and know that they're getting ready to use it. So we did that ribbon cutting this past fall. Other workforce development programs, medical lab technician, MLT, physical therapy assistant program. Both of those programs have about 15 to 20 students in those, and those are pretty much capped out based upon the accreditation process. Computer science, business administration, and then lastly, equine ranch management are the workforce programs. But again, I would say if you ask who NEO is known for as it relates to workforce, I think you really first and foremost go to our nursing program. If you see the Wyandotte Nation, say thank you to them because they invest and know how important our NEO nursing program is. Innovative partnerships. Diane, I told you I was going to bring up Northeast Technology Center. I was at a Senate dinner the other night and saw Brett Haken. Is that right? He's the state director of Career Tech. We talked a little bit about this program. This is not new, but this is just an example of higher education and career tech working hand in hand to make sure that we serve northeastern Oklahoma the best that we can. A fast-track nursing program in Kansas, Oklahoma is for LPNs, licensed practical nurses, and paramedics to basically come to NEO and finish their RN, a registered nurse, in 1 year, get their associate's degree. And so we appreciate our partnership with Northeast Techs and always looking for ideas to do things even better. Moving on, Peoria Tribe, Oklahoma, there in Miami, helped us reestablish our early childhood center a few years ago that allows our students that are in early childhood program to actually do observations, lab work there on campus, but also provides inexpensive childcare for students on campus in addition to the Native American population in our community. City of Miami, before I got there about 12 years ago, passed a city sales tax to help renovate Red Robertson Field. We just put down $450,000 turf and a new jumbotron. I'm the chair of the Miami Community Facilities Authority. We're so appreciative of the city, the taxpayers from 12 years ago, but also the city to continue to invest in NEO. And then lastly, I just want to talk about a GRDA nursing program. This has not gone public yet. Legal people get involved, and we want to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. But GRDA and I have been working about creating this pathway scholarship where they serve about 21 communities across northeastern Oklahoma. And we want to take a kid or a student that wants to major in nursing, help them come to campus. Our nursing program requires basically 3 years, 1 year of prerequisites and then 2 years of in the nursing program. And so this scholarship is actually a $10,000 per year for 3 years, as long as we have a community partner. And I'm here to say thank you for being that community partner for Grove, Oklahoma, because this next fall we're going to be able to select a student that's going to go to NEO. We know that we want to rise people out of poverty and help them put in places where they can come back, and after completing their degree from NEO in 3 years, then they would come back to this community and actually give back and work for 2 to 3 years upon graduation. And so I just want to say thank you from NEO, because this is all a partnership and all that we do to change people's lives. And I think that this GRDA partnership program, and along with Grove and other communities, is going to be transformative to the lives that are impacted. And so thank you for your investment in that. Lastly, legislative updates. Obviously, the session begins February the 3rd, and it's full speed ahead. We are excited about it. I don't think there's a lot of money that's out there as it relates to reoccurring revenue. I think there's some one-time funding. We received $1.2 million this past year in deferred maintenance funding, which was amazing, and we know that we're going to get more this next year, and this is money that's been set aside, so we're excited about that. There's a tax credit that's up for legislation, and I want to bring, this is already happening in the private school and the public school, I believe public schools as well, but this tax credit is to basically, a quick example is a organization, corporation writes $100,000 to the NEO Foundation. Mathematically, you're going to get a tax credit, your tax donation from the federal government as you turn in your taxes, that could be huge to us. So the tax credits, this happens in the private school sector already, so we're trying to make this expanded into higher education. Obviously, if we got 3 people that did $100,000, that would like double our foundation's ability to give out scholarships. And so this is something that we're going to push hard on, and stay tuned about that. Oklahoma's Promise, we are the best. That's taking students that does not have the financial means, meets the financial requirement, goes on to college. At NEO, we provide them with a free room scholarship, and so we want to continue to expand that. This past year, it expanded to the junior year for signing up, and so we're trying to clean up some language this next year to hopefully maybe even allow students to sign up during their senior year, because some students have not made decisions. We're excited about that. Insurance rates, yours just like mine, have gone up. And so lastly, campus safety and security, we are trying to get some grant funding there. Concurrent enrollment works. One of the best things about my job is interacting with students in lots of different environments, whether it be a livestock judging or commencement. And at commencement every year, I have at least 1 or 2 students that will say that they're getting their associate's degree on a Thursday night, and they're getting their high school diploma the next Friday night. And so concurrent enrollment in Oklahoma does work, especially from some of our smaller schools that don't have the resources to have quality math and science classes at the high level with only having 1 or 2 people. And so we play an important role, a part of that. And with legislative updates, I am going to bring you a special guest on February the 19th. That's the 3rd bullet. If you don't know Sean Burridge, you're going to get to hear from him here in a couple of weeks. I tried to get him today and get out of today so that he could come, but he said he could not be here. But I hope that you'll mark your calendars for February the 19th. Sean was my boss at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. He is now the Chancellor for Higher Education, our state system, has done a great job, and I'm very excited about his leadership, and we'll get him here. Founders Day, it's when we celebrate the founding of our campus. Moving on, some cool things, I believe. I already talked about the basketball game on the 7th, but NEO versus Connor State baseball, April the 14th at Driller Stadium or One Oak Field. Matt, baseball, you work up a little bit. Softball, Cowgirl Stadium is not in Connors. That's at Oklahoma State, and so we will be playing Connors. Excited about that. And probably the best day of a college president on any campus is commencement. And looking forward to hopefully graduating about 350 students again this year. So with that being said, that's a quick run through. Slides. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Maybe.
Put you to sleep. I just don't have the mojo that Nick has.
You spoke so well, we don't have any questions. You answered everything.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just curious, as you were mentioning moving to online classes, how has the transition over to that affected performance in the students? Have grades dropped, or are students staying engaged?
So I would say engagement is there if we have great quality of faculty. And so that's an important part of these Title III grants is there's, I'm going to stereotype. No, I'm not. I better not in front of a large group. But I will go back to my college experience and tell you that there is a difference between this faculty and this faculty in a face-to-face setting. I think the same exists as it relates to online learning. And so what we are trying to do with the online side of things is to make sure that we equip faculty, adjunct faculty to know where the bar is of what we expect, and then equip them to be even better. And so the Innovation Center is an amazing part. And so I think it varies, and I do not see a difference. The data I don't look at that every day, but I do not believe that there's much of a difference between the face-to-face and the online. It's easier for us to monitor their progress, if you will, in the online than it is a face-to-face because we can see when they get into the learning management system software, whereas a face-to-face, we're not taking attendance. Sir.
Yes, just a note of appreciation. The Grove, Oklahoma healthcare system is essentially based on the NEO nursing graduate, and we are thankful for it.
Appreciate that very much.
Well, I think you got off easy there. Let's give Dr. Stafford a big round of applause. Thank you, sir. Oh, nice to have you around. Great job. So next week is our Rotary Grant giveaway. Miss Suzanne Knott will be leading the show, so that's exciting. So make sure you're here for that. Also, when Amanda sent out the newsletter this week, she was asking about bios. If you have a bio from 1987, which most of us probably do when we first got here, we did our bio. If everybody would maybe craft a new bio, get that started, get that ready, and then we'll figure out what email address we're going to send that all to, and then we can get all that uploaded to our website. So we're going to stack the blue chairs 8 high, and we're going to put out 7 metal chairs. Anything else for the good of the cause, good of the club? Okay, Suzanne. I was not. Terrible. All right, if everybody wants to stand for the 4-way test. Suzanne, were you born in 1987? I bet you were. All right, and all the things that we think, say, or do is the truth. And is it fun?
Say hi to Mark.
In the last 5 or 6 years, we've done student loans,
Riley's homecoming in June.